Hello, children. Um, Let us move on further with our topic that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. So, let me just give you what we are going to study about it. See, the economics subject is broadly classified into microeconomics and microeconomics. It is done so as we understand better the economics, the system of economics, and how it processes. Let us study with microeconomics. Adam Smith is considered to be the founder of the field of microeconomics. Also, Adam Smith is known as the father of economics. The term micro has been derived from the Greek word mikros, which means small. So, with this term, we understand that microeconomics is that part of economic theory which studies the behavior of individual units. We are going to study economics at a lower level. Microeconomic deals with analysis of behavior and economic actions of small and individual units of the economy, like a particular customer, a firm, or a small group of individual units, that is industry or market. For example, what agricultural industry is dealing with, the garment industry, the automobile industry, the street market, or the main market, for example. So all these, when we come into details, when we come to the lower level of the economy, we have to study about it in microeconomics. Now here is an example giving, that is individual income. In microeconomics, we study the behavior of individual economic agents in the market for different goods and services that are available, and try to figure out how the prices and quantities of these goods and services are determined through the interaction of individuals in these markets. For example, if I have to sell, say for example, pickles, so I have to involve the individual, involve my customers in it, like what will be the quality, what type of pickle you want, what will be the quantity, what will be the price. So all these things are determined, or that these are found out in microeconomics. We have to deal with this. A consumer is an important economic unit in the context of microeconomics. He faces the problem of choice. How he has to face the problem of choice? See, a consumer has many options in the market. For example, like the demand for salt by an individual household. Okay, so now salt is available to us through many sellers. Okay, so he has to face the problem of choice, which is better, which has a good quality. Am I getting it at the right price? What is the quantity? So this is the problem that the consumer has to face. He has to use his resources or income on the purchase of different goods in a manner such that he is able to maximize his satisfaction. Now, how does he do it? To satisfy his uh, need, he has to go through a series of choices. Now, every individual, every consumer is a different individual. He will react to the product or service in a different manner. Now, what is the behavior of the customer that tells him that he has to buy this product, or he has to go for this service? So every individual has his own behavior, and it changes from time to time. To study the behavior of a consumer, the economists have developed the theory of consumer behavior. A producer is another important economic unit in the context of microeconomics. He also faces the problem of choice. He has to choose the commodity he should produce so that his profits are maximized. Now, in front of a producer, what all problems or economic issue arises? He has to decide the problem of, the cost of, what should be the cost of the product, what wages should he give to the labor, what machinery should he use, should he use skilled labor or unskilled labor. He has to choose all this. Okay, also he has to choose the technology that minimizes its cost for the production of a commodity. Now, what do you understand by this? See, technology is always helpful, whether you it be in a household or be it in a firm or industry. Technology not only speeds up the production process, it also saves money. So he has to carefully choose such a technology which is easily manageable by him, which also has an upgradation so that it doesn't involve much more costs. To study the behavior of a producer, the economists also have developed the theory of supply. Let us move on to the next topic, macroeconomics. Now, this macroeconomics is a broad term in economics. Let us see. The term macro has been derived from the Greek word makros, which means large. Definition of macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is that part of economic theory which studies the behavior of aggregates of the economy as a whole. It studies economic activities related to economy, which is considered as a total or as aggregate. The economists have formulated different theories to study the various issues of macroeconomics. Now, see, in economy, macroeconomy deals with at a higher level than microeconomics, which deals in an individual or at a lower level. In macroeconomics, we try to get an understanding of the economy as a whole by focusing our attention on aggregate measures such as total output, employment, and aggregate price level. Here, we are interested in finding out how the levels of these aggregate measures are determined and how the levels of these aggregate measures change over time. See, economics is a system where one sells and the other buys. So with time, trends also change. You may not want to buy a 2G phone or a 3G phone when obviously you have other options such as 4G or 3G or 5G which is going to come. So you see, with time, trends change. Trends change, that means the consumer always want different from what he already had. So this brings a change in the system, this brings change in the economy. So therefore, the economists have developed theories to study the various issues of macroeconomics. For example, it studies aggregate demand for all the goods and services in the economy. Macroeconomy deals with the, let's say national income, total employment, general price level, etc. The theory of income and employment is formulated to study how equilibrium is reached in the economy. Now, what is an equilibrium? It is a phase, it is a situation in which demand and supply is equal. What do I mean is a situation in which demand and supply are matched. Now let us understand what are the differences between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics, now there is a separate column for basis. On what basis we are going to differentiate these two? See, the first one is meaning. Let us understand. We have already understood the meaning of micro and macroeconomics. Now let us see how does it differentiate. Macroeconomics is that part of economic theory which studies the behavior of individual units of an economy. For example, we have seen, how the demand for soil of an individual household or the demand for soil by all the households. Now this is we are dealing in this market, we are dealing with individuals. On the other hand, macroeconomic is that part of the economic theory which studies the behavior of aggregates of the economy as a whole. Now the next basis on which we differentiate these two are tools. Microeconomics tools are demand and supply. We have to deal with demand and supply of the individual level. In macroeconomics, we have to deal with the total demand and total supply of an economic system. The next basis on which we differentiate microeconomics and macroeconomics is the basic objective. In microeconomics, it aims to determine the price of a commodity or factors of production. What will be the cost of the commodity? What will be the price of the service, what will be the quality, quantity, or it deals with the factors of production, that is land, labor, capital. Okay, and in macroeconomics, it aims to determine income and employment level of the economy. What is the employment level? If there are workers in the working for industries and firms, then only you will be able to get the products. So, and they are also paid income in return for their employment services. Next comes degree of aggregation or degree of totality or degree of whole. In microeconomics, it involves a limited degree of aggregation. Over here, we only deal with a particular market or a particular product. For example, the automobile industry of India, Maruti Suzuki is leading. So basically, when we see a high number of population of India, when it is Diwali time or any such important days or occasions or festivals, people go for the cars that are produced by the Maruti Suzuki company in automobile sector. Or for example, if you go to the market and we all love the chips Lays, okay, so that is another comes under microeconomics in food sector. In macroeconomics, it involves the highest degree of aggregation. For example, aggregate demand is derived for the entire economy. The current situation we are dealing with is COVID-19. So the demand of products is hand sanitizers and gloves and disinfectants. So this hand sanitizers and disinfectants, these are, we are dealing this COVID-19 at a worldwide, at a higher level, at a macro level. So the demand for these products is also will be derived at the highest degree of aggregation. Now let us come to the next basic assumptions. Microeconomics, it assumes all the micro variables to be it assumes all the macro variables to be constant. That is, it assumes that national income, consumption, savings, etc. are constant. If these are constant, then only we can study the micro variables. In macroeconomics, it assumes that all the micro variables like decisions of the households and firms, prices of individual products, etc. are constant. By constantly means that it is fixed. The households do not change their decisions in, like 6 months or 2 months. We believed it to be fixed, then only we can study the macro variables. And next is other name. So microeconomics is also known as price theory, whereas macroeconomics is known as income and employment theory. Examples of microeconomics are individual income, individual output, and macroeconomics are national income and national output.